So you want to get a handle on the big picture, right? Understand how things have changed, but maybe without getting totally bogged down in all the tiny details.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Consider this your shortcut then. Today we're doing a deep dive into the industrial revolutions. We're looking at how they've really reshaped manufacturing, sure, but also transport, energy, even, how we shop.
Exactly. And we've looked through quite a bit of material articles, research bits to pull out the key technologies, the big transformations, and really the core benefits of each era.
Okay.
So by the end of this, hopefully you'll have a much clearer picture of these huge shifts and why they still matter today.
Sounds good. All right, let's kick things off right at the start. The first industrial revolution. What was the core change back then?
Well, the fundamental thing was this shift from making things mostly by hand, manual labor, to using machines in factories. And the key technology, the big one driving it, was the introduction of machines like the steam engine. That just completely changed the pace of work.
Right. So instead of one person crafting a whole thing, you've got machines doing parts of it, or maybe the whole repetitive task.
Precisely. And suddenly you could create a demand for standardized goods, things made the same way, on a scale nobody had seen before.
So what did that actually mean for production? How much more could they make?
Oh, the impact was huge. I mean, machines could just keep going 204/7 if needed, and they could do it with a precision, a consistency that's just...
Well, it's really hard for humans to match over and over.
Yeah, can imagine.
So you saw this dramatic increase in the sheer amount of stuff being produced and how fast it could be churned out.
And it wasn't just more stuff, was it? I mean, where people worked, that changed dramatically too.
Absolutely. That's a critical point. You saw this big move away from cottages, home-based work, small workshops,
right,
towards these large centralized factories. And bringing everything together like that, it allowed for what we call economies of scale.
Economies of scale. Okay. So making things in bulk makes each item cheaper. Exactly. Think about it having all the machines, all the workers, all the materials in one spot. It just makes the whole process more efficient, lower cost per unit. Big logistical advantages.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
And I remember reading that the work itself felt very different inside these factories. Not just the machines, but how people worked.
Yes, precisely. The first Industrial Revolution really saw the division of labor take hold everywhere.
Yep.
So instead of one craftsman making a whole chair, for example, you'd break it down. One person makes the legs, another the seat, someone else assembles it. Specific, often very repetitive tasks.
And that specialization made things even faster.
That was the key. It boosted efficiency again, pushed up the overall output. It was a real transformation in how things were made and where.
Okay, a massive shift. So let's move forward then. What about the second industrial revolution? What defined that next big wave?
Right. So the second built on the first, obviously, but it was really marked by a big expansion. New energy sources were huge and massive leaps in transportation.
Transportation. Yeah, let's zero in on that first. That seems like it would change daily life profoundly.
Oh, undeniably. A really pivotal invention was the internal combustion engine.
Right, the car engine.
Exactly. That directly led to cars and trucks becoming viable, eventually widespread. It started to revolutionize personal travel, how goods moved. Think about how that mobility started to reshape cities, connect rural areas.
And it wasn't just cars, though, was it? Weren't railroads still massively important, maybe even more so during this time?
Very much so. And what's interesting is how advancements kind of fed each other. Better steel production, thanks to improved manufacturing, meant we could build more railroads, stronger railroads, faster. So you get this huge expansion of rail networks. Suddenly, long-distance travel, shipping freight across land, it all got much, much quicker and cheaper. It really shrunk the map in a way.
Connected everything up. And with the car, you had people like Henry Ford, the assembly line. Right. That made them affordable.
Exactly right. Ford's use of the moving assembly line was revolutionary. It slashed the cost of making cars, making them accessible to, well, not everyone immediately, but a much bigger slice of the population. Owning a car stopped being just for the super rich.
A huge social change. And what about over water? Did shipping change much too?
It did. Steam power wasn't brand new, but steamships became much more efficient, much more reliable. Combined with better ship design, it transformed maritime trade.
Faster journeys, more predictable schedules.
Yep. Quicker, more dependable transport of goods across oceans. That really fueled globalization. International trade picked up speed.
Wow, the pace of change seems incredible just in that area. You also mentioned new energy sources were key in the second revolution. What were they?
This is where we see electricity really come into its own as a major power source, and also natural gas and petroleum, oil. These didn't just power the new transport, like cars and trains needing oil, but they also powered factories in new ways and, changed cities with things like electric lighting. A fundamental shift in energy.
Okay, so that brings sort of closer to the modern era. Let's jump ahead. What really defines industry today?
Well, two big themes stand out right now, I'd say. One is a major focus on sustainability, and the other is the pervasive use of automation.
Sustainability, we hear that word everywhere. What does it mean in practice for, like, a factory?
In practice, it means a serious push towards renewable energy. So you're seeing more and more use of solar power, wind power, hydropower, even things like geothermal and biomass to actually run the industrial operations. The main goal is cutting down reliance on fossil fuels, minimizing that carbon footprint.
Right, a big environmental push. And the other one you mentioned, automation. How is that changing the game in manufacturing?
Oh, automation is reshaping things in, quite a few ways. First, speed. Automated systems can run constantly, way beyond human shift.
Okay.
Then there's precision and accuracy. Machines can perform tasks with a level of consistency that reduces errors, leading to, higher quality products.
So faster and better quality. What else?
Yeah.
Are there cost implications?
Yes, definitely. Look, the initial investment, buying the robots or the automated systems, that can be significant, no doubt.
Right.
But over the long term, it often leads to big cost savings. You have lower labor costs, less wasted material from errors, fewer production mistakes overall.
Makes sense.
And there's more. These automated systems, they often have sensors, they're connected. The whole Internet of Things or IoT idea.
IoT.
That generates tons of data. And that data allows for much smarter decisions. Things like predicting when a machine might fail before it happens, predictive maintenance, or constantly tweaking the production line for maximum efficiency.
So it makes the whole operation smarter, more data-driven.
Exactly. And one more thing, flexibility. Automation can make it easier to switch between different products or even handle highly customized orders, which is something consumers increasingly want.
And robots, I guess, are the visible face of a lot of this automation. What are the specific plus points of using robots?
Yeah, robotics is a huge part of it. The benefits overlap with automation generally, but robots really shine in a few areas. Productivity, obviously, they can work 24/7. Precision is another big one. Think about electronics assembly or pharmaceuticals where tiny errors are critical.
Right, you need that consistency.
You do, and safety is a major factor. Robots can take over jobs that are dangerous or unhealthy for humans handling toxic materials, heavy lifting, repetitive strain tasks.
Good point.
And again, long-term cost efficiency through less waste, consistent quality, and more operational flexibility. They can often be reprogrammed for different tasks relatively easily.
Okay, so that leads us nicely into what people are calling the fourth industrial revolution, or Industry 4.0. What's the core idea there? Is it just more automation and robots?
It's a bit more than that. Industry 4.0 is really about the convergence of these automation technologies with artificial intelligence. AI is the key differentiator.
Okay, AI.
It's about creating systems that aren't just automated, but are intelligent, interconnected, and can make decisions, learn, and adapt. Think smart factories.
And what does that mean for people working in these industries?
Yeah.
The workforce impact seems like a big question mark for many.
It's definitely multifaceted. It's complex. On one hand, yes, there's a real concern and reality of job displacement. Tasks that are routine, repetitive, manual. Those are prime candidates for automation and AI takeover.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's also creating totally new kinds of jobs. We need people to design, build, program, and maintain these AI systems and robots. We need data scientists to make sense of all the information generated.
So a shift in the type of jobs.
Exactly. It really highlights the need for, upskilling and reskilling the workforce. People need to learn new things. And what we're seeing emerge is more collaboration between humans and machines, each doing what they do best.
So it's not necessarily robots completely replacing humans across the board, but changing the nature of work.
That seems to be the direction, yes. It's a transformation. And if we look specifically at the advantages AI brings to manufacturing itself, they're pretty compelling.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, well, quality control gets a massive boost. AI can analyze images or sensor data in real time to spot defects, even tiny ones, far faster and more reliably than the human eye.
Wow.
Predictive maintenance, which I mentioned before, AI is brilliant at that. analyzing machine performance data to predict failures before they happen, which saves a ton of money on downtime and repairs.
Right, preventing problems instead of just fixing them.
Exactly. Then there's optimizing the whole production flow. AI can analyze the entire process and suggest tweaks for better efficiency, faster throughput. It's also crucial for supply chain optimization, predicting demand more accurately, managing inventory better, making the whole chain run smoother.
So it smoothed everything out.
And finally, it enables that greater customization and flexibility we talked about. AI can help manage complex production schedules needed to produce more personalized goods efficiently.
It really sounds like AI is becoming like the brain or the nervous system for the whole operation, optimizing everything.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah.
And its reach goes beyond just the factory floor, right?
Right.
It's changing how businesses make decisions generally.
Oh, absolutely. Its impact on business strategy and operations is huge. AI can sift through enormous data sets, market trends, customer behavior, operational data way beyond human capacity to provide really solid data-driven insights for decision-making.
So less guesswork, more evidence.
Much less guesswork. And predictive analytics, a type of AI, helps forecast future outcomes, what market trends might emerge, potential risks, customer demand. It can also automate routine decisions, freeing up people for more complex strategic thinking. It provides real-time support, helping businesses react faster to changing conditions. And it's even changing customer relationships through personalization, analyzing data to understand individual customer needs and tailor offers or communication.
And speaking of customers, that ties into how we make choices now. Our preferences, how we decide what to buy, that's shifted massively too in this digital age, hasn't it?
Totally. Think about it. Online reviews and ratings, they have immense power now, right? People trust them, sometimes more than traditional advertising.
Yeah, I definitely check reviews.
And personalized recommendations, you browse for something online and suddenly you're seeing ads for similar things everywhere. That's often AI shaping what you even see.
Right, the algorithms.
Social media is huge too. What influencers are promoting, what your friends are sharing, that carries a lot of weight. And then there's just the sheer expectation of convenience. People want things easy, fast delivery, simple returns.
Accessibility.
Exactly. And finally, price transparency. It's so easy to compare prices online now, so discounts and deals play a really big role in those final clicks to buy.
So we've tracked this amazing journey from, one person making one thing by hand to these huge steam-powered factories.
Yeah.
Then electricity, mass production, the assembly line. Then automation and robots. And now this layer of AI connecting and optimizing everything. It's quite the evolution.
It really is. And you can see how each phase sort of built on the last one, can't you? Mechanization laid the groundwork, mass production scaled it up, automation made it more efficient and precise, and now AI is adding this layer of intelligence, always pushing for more efficiency, new ways of doing things.
And for everyone listening, understanding these big shifts, these revolutions, it's not just some dry history lesson, is it?
Yeah.
It gives you a framework, a context for understanding the world we're living in right now.
Absolutely. The technologies, the economic forces, the social changes we've talked about, they're still playing out. Understanding this history helps make sense of current trends, debates about AI and jobs, the push for sustainability, how global trade works.
It provides that crucial background.
It really does. It gives you insight into how we got here and maybe some clues about where we might be heading.
So here's something to chew on then as we wrap up. As AI gets woven deeper and deeper into, everything, into industry, into our daily lives, what kind of new skills or maybe even new ways of thinking are going to be the most valuable for us going forward?
That's the big question, isn't it? How do we adapt and thrive in this next phase?
Definitely something to think about. Well, thanks for exploring this deep dive with us today.